Love it. How's everybody doing?
Great.
Lena, I'm going to let you kick this off because I am still gathering my stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I want to see who has been, okay, show of hands. So this is where you need to be on camera or throw in the chat box too. How many people have been in the business over 1 year? Okay, I got Janet, her hands up. Anybody else over 1 year? Aaron said 4 months. Who has been in, Kelly raised her hand, over a year? Who's been in it over 6 months? 6 months? Any takers? Any takers? Okay, couple hands, couple hands. Who has done at least one transaction? Hands. Maddie's hand went up. That's good. Okay. Who has done over more than two transactions? Couple hands, couple hands. I see Tim's hand, Janet.
Melina, you know what's easier is when people are on camera and then we can see their real hands. What's up?
Welcome, Maddie. I've said that so many times. I'm trying to get them on camera.
Jeez, people's pretty faces.
I know. It's so much easier to participate and make friends with people if you know who you're talking to. I like making friends. Just saying. All right, we got a couple more. Felice, I see you came on camera. Thank you. Your hair looks lovely, lovely. There we go, people. All right. So who's done over 2 deals? Can I see some hands? Okay, I do see a couple hands. There we go. Love it. So welcome to our first class in our second round of series of what we are now calling Agent Launch University. Woo woo. So this is now, L3 has changed to ALU, which is so much cooler, Agent Launch University. It's awesome. So Via is going to go over kind of what the outline looks like for the whole class series. But this class is for anybody really that is new to the industry, that is or has done, you know, less than 5 deals, let's say. And really it goes along with Ignite. So if you're wondering, well, I'm at Ignite or should I take both? Yes, take both. It's totally a supplemental course to go along with it. You don't have to have taken it yet, or you could have. You can take them both multiple times. That's the joy of these classes, is that you're going to learn something every single class that you come to, no matter how many times. I could take Ignite right now and I still pick up something new that is like, oh my God, I didn't even, you know, because it's taught differently every time. The live courses, we make remember to say something that we didn't say last time or vice versa. So definitely try to plug in. If you have to miss a live class, don't worry, we record it. But these live ones are so great to come to, especially on camera when you show your beautiful face, because you connect with other agents. And I'm going to tell you guys, the last round that we did of this, the people that we saw, and I know Via will attest to this, the people that we saw show up time and time again and participate and talk and voice and ask questions are the ones that we saw A, in production so quickly, and B, are just killing it right now. So if you participate and you do the homework and you take action and you listen to what, you know, we're teaching and the guests that we have come on our teaching, you're going to see success. Am I right, Maddie? Right? Right? Yes.
Right. Just use the little filter button when you go to options on Zoom, and then it filters your video and then you look amazing.
So I should do that. Okay. So we will record it. I know I had somebody reach out right beforehand that they weren't going to be able to make it. It will be recorded, and we have a link to go to that has all of the recordings, but also the joy of coming to the live class is you get any of the materials that we cover. We literally send them to you. That's the joy of this company also, is that everybody shares everything, and we give you, Via has so willingly and awesomely shared her listing presentation and stuff like that. So you're going to get all of that information by being here. Maybe we should change it that you only get it if you're on camera. Just kidding. But I kind of like it. All right, Via, I'm ready to kick it off to you to start going over the details.
Hey, everybody. Welcome. I don't know. I'm looking at all these new names. I see Avelina. I recognize your name. And I can't wait to get to know this new round. It feels like it's our sophomore class because we had our regulars. Janet Spizak, I see you. I see you. And I know where you are. You're in the cabin. You're at the river house. I can tell. Shannon Wright, we haven't met, and you have beautiful hair. You just brighten my day seeing your hair like that. It's beautiful. So I can't wait to get to know everybody. You know, showing up to a Zoom, not on camera, it does happen from time to time. Like when you're driving, it's an unflattering angle, and when you're eating, I get it. But it's kind of the equivalent. Have you seen that funny skit of showing up to a board meeting with a bag over your head? They did a skit, and they're like, showing up to a Zoom meeting off camera is like literally like walking in with a bag over your head, which is when you all put bags over your head. Insert bag over head now, right? So when possible, we love it when you can be on camera and participate. These are highly participatory. So I just wanted to spend a little bit of time going over what you're about to embark on and why it's important, and kind of how it came about, how it started. And Lena's gonna jump in from time to time. I love our new branding. We used to call this L3, and how it was sort of birthed, if you will, was that the team leaders just kept saying, we need something that's not Ignite, that kind of bridges the gap between real world and what everyone's learning in like real estate school or Ignite. And I don't know if you guys want to, let me pull you up here. I don't know if you want to unmute or put it in chat, whatever you're most comfortable with, but are you feeling that? Like, it's one thing to learn, like you need to go make appointments and everything. And they even teach you some of it, but do you really want to know what a top producing real estate agent actually says at a buyer consult? You guys feeling that? Because when you're kind of newer and getting started, it's like, you just kind of need to, I call it filling in the gap, right? It's kind of like you can learn what you need to learn. Like you now know what you need. You know what you don't know, but you need kind of that hands-on training that I believe only an experienced agent can teach, and then what will happen throughout, I have to get used to saying ALU, because what happened last time over the 6-month course of it is we got to know our core people who came most of the weeks. And we would kind of walk through listing presentations and buyers with them and deals with them. And as we kind of started to get to know each other, they would, at the beginning, they would come on and they'd be like, oh, I used that script and this is what happened. And it was, and we just kind of got to know each other that way. And every single person who committed and stayed with us through that 6 months, every single person, you guys, is on their way to being a capper if they're not a capper already. Every single one of them. So, if you kind of commit to Ignite and this, and hopefully productivity coaching or your team, I can almost guarantee you that you're going to succeed in real estate, right? You're in the right place. If you have colleagues in your market center who aren't here, that you've been kind of hanging out with, going through the trenches together as a new agent, side by side, they need to be here. Please be sure that they're all aware of it. So, generally how this got started, the content is that I've had a long team. And for those of you who I haven't met, by the way, I should have introduced myself. My name's Via Williams. I'm the president of our brokerages. So we have 8 Keller Williams franchises and about 10 offices throughout Western Washington, from Bellingham to Olympia. And I help lead them. Lena is my vice president of brokerage operations. Christy Webster is vice president of financial and compliance. And then Robin, who's here somewhere, is what's Robin's official title? We're not big on titles. Robin does a lot.
Manager of everything.
Manager of everything is Rob. That's her official title, FYI. Can we just put that on her card? Please put that on our card. Okay, good. Thank you, Director of Brokerage Operations, for handling that. Okay. I try to say that at least once a day. And you know what? Why do I say it once a day, Lena?
So that you reassure yourself that that's not your job.
That it's not me being the director of brokerage operations or vice president, whatever you call it. Good. So we are manager of everything. I said, I think we should rebrand this because it's not, what the heck is L3? And then of course our crack master, like the master of all things said, well, why don't I just have a logo done up for you in 5 minutes? Like she's so good. So we have a logo that says Agent Launch University. So there you go. Right. So how the content got started is when I had a team. These are all of the basics that we covered. This is my team training that we're going to give to you. We bring other agents on. It's not just me. It's not just Lena. Other top performing agents in our system come on. Matt Robb is our team leader in West Seattle. He's on vacation today. He was a productivity coach, acting agent, and assistant team leader in West Hollywood in LA. And he used to teach scripts every single week. So he comes on and does a session on 3 scripts you have to know, and you practice them. I get that you're all learning all the scripts. He's gonna like, these are the 3, and that's kind of what this class is. It's like, this is what you really like. Just come to this class, and it's gonna help translate all the other stuff you're getting. Right? You're kind of drinking from a fire hose right now. This class is gonna bring it together for you and kind of help you synthesize it. Like, oh, okay, because we're gonna do things like you can see database and sphere in the announcement. A lot of you guys, not all of you, a lot of you guys are new to real estate. You're new to your team. We can utilize that announcement a lot. How are you working with your sphere? What the heck is a 33 touch? What do you actually send to people on that? Don't send recipes. That's a spoiler alert right there. What do you actually do either your first 15 days in real estate, or if you maybe not been sure what to do your first 15 days, you can start your first 15 days now. What can you do to jumpstart your career, right? So, the point about it is that there's a lot to talk about with database. So you're going to learn a lot about your database and other training, which is great. We're going to kind of get real here. Lead gen, I told you basic scripts. I'm going to teach you how I do open houses and how I've gotten a ton of business in open houses, and other lead gen. But, buyers, we're going to talk about, we're going to walk through my buyer consult. I think we're going to maybe walk through 1 or 2 other buyer consults, how to present a purchase and sale agreement to a buyer, using Washington state contracts. A lot of the times the training you guys are going to are national training and they don't get in the weeds. We have one whole session where I'm going through how I present literally line by line a contract to my buyers and my sellers. I mean, in the weeds stuff, right? What does it actually sound like when they ask questions and I'm walking through a contract with them, right? We're going to go through how to do a CMA. Everybody does CMAs a little differently, and I've been teaching that for over a decade, and I teach 2 or 3 different methods that I use for that. And I think it's always helpful to know how other agents come at pricing. How to, how I have done my listing presentations. We're going to have others come on and do theirs as well. How to present price and consult with sellers and get them to set price. Data, I'm going to show you what data to track, how to talk about it, how to present it, how to use it in context. Who here was at our network meeting 2 days ago?
Me?
Yay! April, I see April. I can't quite see everybody. Any of you guys that were there, I try to kind of train on that a little bit during those, when the second Tuesday of every single month, we go through the data of the previous month and talk, and I try to feed, like, this is how you should be talking about it to your clients. And this is where it's relevant for a buyer. This is where it's relevant for a seller. And we're just going to get a little bit more basic. Hi, Aaron. How are you, Aaron Byrne? Haven't seen you in a while. Have you guys heard Aaron Byrne talk? He has a lovely lilting accent.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. You have a beautiful voice, Aaron. I didn't mean to embarrass you. I'm sorry, my friend. All right. So that's kind of an overview. So there's probably a little more, but this is basically everything you kind of need to know to, frankly, to thrive in real estate. I didn't get all this when I started in real estate. Had I have had someone giving me all that, like, this is really, really important training. I don't think I'm just saying that Lena, just because it's, it's us. It's just having seasoned agents teaching this stuff, it really does fill in the gap between what you learn in the classroom, don't you think, and what you learn out in the field.
For sure.
Yeah. All right. So, here we go. Okay. So we're going to start with this. What this is adapted from the first 15 days. We called it boot camp on the VIA group. And on the VIA group, we required all of our agents to go through what I'm about to go through with you. We all admit it that, I think for a general brokerage, the expectations that those of us that have teams have for team members is a little bit more stringent maybe than I've softened it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. What I expected my team to do is actually more than on this, if that tells you anything. I also want to kind of plant a seed that when you came on my team, we tracked our data pretty well. The average agent closed their first deal on day 119. Second deal almost 30 days later it was almost trackable. Third deal was almost to the day 30 days later after that. So the translation is on my team, it was a deal closed month 4, 5, and 6, almost like clockwork. We tracked all agents who were ever on our team over 12 months. Those agents, we tracked every agent who was on my team longer than 18 months. Every single agent from month 7 to 18. So I ignore the first 6 months. Months 7 to 18, every single one of them netted 100K or more net, which means their GCI was over 200. And the highest was 136 in that 7 to 18, month 7 to month 18. And the only reason I'm sharing that is that I think that this is the foundation of that. So as I go through this, if your eyes are popping out, you're like freaking out about it. Number one, you can modify, right? You are your own boss here. That's the beauty of real estate. You're an independent contractor, and no one's going to make you do anything. And the downfall of real estate is no one's going to make you do anything. Right, Janet Spizak?
So one thing I'll say really quick too is that VIA is the queen of numbers and stats. And so if she's giving these numbers, like what her team did and average numbers and sales and GCA and all that, like it's legit. She has this tracked and in a spreadsheet somewhere.
Yeah, it's funny. I didn't used to be like that at all. I mean, I did turn into that person at a certain point. Now I make almost all database decisions. It's true. This 15-day is what how all of you can be treating, the next 2 weeks of your life. And even if you've been in real estate 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, you can pick any 15-day period to re-engage. In fact, I would argue this is a really good adrenaline shot, right? I have used this before as an adrenaline shot. A little side note for all of my seasoned agents watching right now, if you're going through a slump, everybody goes through slumps, my friends. Every single person, every single one of you will go through a sales slump. It's part of it, right? Sometimes a sales slump can lead to a crisis of confidence. It can lead to a lack of self-esteem. It can lead to kind of being down. Best way to combat that is to get into action and pull out the plan. You won't even get through 15 days if you're a seasoned agent before your business starts regenerating, because just getting into action will help. So if you're a new Chazon, hi, that's one of our OGs. You were in the last session. Were you here at the beginning when I was introducing everybody?
I was here today at the beginning, but I wasn't part of the first couple of classes when I first came on. And then I was working with Sean Brown, and he was like, "Did you ever do VIA's 15-day challenge?" And I was like, "No, I never heard about that."
You were there. You were in most of our L3 though. Yeah.
Yeah, at the back part. So I was like, I need to get this 15-day challenge. I gotta get that.
Good. So. I love that Sean Brown, who's one of our rock stars that kind of graduated. Well, it is called university now, Lena. Maybe they graduate. I love that it's called 15-day challenge. Maybe we should change it to that. Anyway.
I love that you told her to do it.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go through it. And I believe, if I understand correctly, that Lena, are we going to put people into breakout rooms to kind of form accountability partners and make.
Yeah. When we're done going through it, for sure. Yeah.
Okay. So this is interactive. So get ready. And then we will, Robin or Lena, do you guys need me to share this with you so that you can, Lena, you have this one. It's shared with you. So you can send it to everybody. Okay. All right. So the first thing is, the reason we do 15 days is because if you do 15 days, it starts on a Monday and it ends on the third Monday. Does that make sense? It's sort of semantics. You call it 14. It's fine. We used to do our team meetings every Monday. And so what would happen is we this was a big deal. It was kind of a milestone on my team. And so we would, launch it on a Monday. Okay. And we would typically onboard 2, 3, 4 agents at once. And then the second Monday, I wouldn't call it graduation, but we made a big deal out of going through this. And so I want to encourage you guys to do the same, especially with other agents in your own market center. It's important to have accountability and have buddies, I think, on something like this, because we're about to go into it. So I'm going to go through an overview, and then I have a detail sheet that goes into some of the nitty gritty, and then we'll send you away to your breakout rooms, and you can kind of decide if or how you want to implement it. Sound good? And just jump in and interrupt me if you have any questions at all. So, okay. So prior to the Monday you start, ideally you have at least a 200 member database. So, there's a lot of great ways to form a database. And I don't know if, Lena or, Maddie or anyone here wants to throw it in. But for me, I say go through your phone. Go through, whoever you send Christmas or Hanukkah cards to, who would you send a graduation announcement to, who would you send, just anyone that kind of knows you and probably wants to support you. If you're a teacher, who are your coworkers? If you're, if you have another business that you've done, like who are your coworkers in that venture? Do you have any church groups, any moms or dads, kids, parents groups? Do you have, sporting groups? Do you play soccer on Sundays? I'm just trying to jog your memory. Yeah. So go through each of your, segments and then dump the name. So my advice is just dump the name. Don't worry about numbers or anything.
And to add to that, a lot of times I hear there's a misconception of like, well, I won't write them because they're not ready to buy. They're not going to buy or sell. But it's also who they know. So you want to add them to the list. And maybe they will in 5 years, right?
Yeah. Just dump the name though, and then come back and backfill the number and email, because when your brain is on just like dumping names from a list, right? Then what am I trying to say? Don't get it out of that and just keep trying to look up phone numbers. Right. Just go, okay, like soccer team, and then go back and add the numbers, if that makes sense. All right. So once you do that, the goal of the first 15 days is that you're making 20 dials a day. Ideally, you'd be making 20 contacts a day. This actually is about 20 dials a day. So voicemails are accepted on this. And the reason is that this isn't supposed to be hard. The point of the first 15 days is to get you into a habit. And it's to get you into a habit and a mindset of coming in the office in the morning, doing your scripts and lead gen practice from 8:30 to 9. And then from 9 to 11, it's your phone time. And if you can start ingraining yourself, I want you to feel like you have a job. That's kind of what this first 15 days does. You should feel busy and stressed, actually, in the best of ways. You should feel busy and stressed just like a job, like you have a deadline to do, then you're doing this right. Right. And so I don't think stress is a bad thing right now. I think there's a healthy stress, the stress of a deadline. And what happens is you can come into real estate and you don't have any of that healthy stress because no one's telling you to do anything. And you can go on the other side of that and you can kind of fall by the wayside. You stay at your home, whatever. The idea of this This boot camp is to get you into the office, get you into a routine. Does that make sense? So 20 dials, voicemails are fine. And, there's a lot of great scripts, but it's like, hey, Aaron, this is Via Williams. I just wanted to let you know I am now with Keller Williams. I'm a real estate agent. I know that we worked together previously in the, leasing and, short-term rental space. And I'm super excited now to, possibly continue working together in, in the residential real estate space. And for now, I just wanted to let you know, love to kind of keep you posted from time to time. And maybe down the road, we can get together for coffee. How does that sound? And, whatever your script is, there's a million scripts that we have on that we won't get too in the weeds on. So that's the idea that you're making 20 calls a day. And by the end of 2 weeks, your brain is pretty trained that, oh, gee, I'm part of this job. I want your brain to, I have to have 20 real estate conversations a day. So write that down. 20 real estate conversations a day. 20 real estate conversations a day. Brandon Rogers, 20 real estate conversations a day. Darby Michieli. How do I pronounce your last name, Darby?
It's Michieli.
Michieli?
No, like it sounds like it has a G in it. Michieli.
Michieli.
Yeah.
I'm a horrible pronounce. Yeah.
It's okay. It's very Italian.
I love it. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
My pronunciation, however, is not. So yeah, so you wanna train your brain. 20 real estate conversations a day. What is 20 times 5? Anybody? 100. So that's 100 real estate conversations a week. That's always going to be our goal. Okay, that's why we have the bold 100. Some of you are going to choose to go to bold someday. All right, you're going to preview 50 homes. We're going to go into that in a minute. You have 15 days to preview 50 homes. That is a very important part of this. You do not skimp on that. It is a very specific list. We're going to spend a little bit of time on it. You will preview 50 homes. You will not preview 49. You will preview how many, Lena Truhaft?
50.
Yeah. You can preview 51.
Or more.
But you can't preview 49.5. Has to be 50. Okay. Part of this is you're going to shadow and help a senior agent do an open house. This is an agent who has proven success getting business from an open house. This is not an agent who's been in real estate for 3 weeks who says, come be my buddy during an open house.
So important.
Please. Your team leader, your productivity coach.
Yes, ask your team leader. Have a list.
Broker, they can all help you. Yeah. Okay. Part of this is I want you to meet with Darren Hamilton and someone at BKCO Mortgage, because you have a lot to learn. And part of your confidence training is, when you start going and, we start training on buyer consults and listing presentations. Oh, I've got a great mortgage team. I've got a great title and escrow officer and an escrow team, right? It's a really important component of this because that's what seasoned agents talk like. Right. And so we have an in-house team that are going to hold your hand. They're going to make you look good. So part of that is you're going to just, introduce yourself to them. We're going to make that easy for you because we're going to have, I believe we're going to have Darren and possibly Jesse from BKCO Mortgage on our next Agent Launch University. So you can check it off your list because most of you are not going to start this 15-day until Monday at the earliest. I recommend starting this on a Monday. So, okay. You have to put on your calendar your designated brokers contracts classes. I cannot stress this enough. Everybody here needs to go to contracts classes. If for some reason you have a standing appointment that gets in the way of that standing class, you have a couple options. Number one, you can spend, block time in your calendar to watch the replay. Number two, you can just hop onto another one of our market centers classes. All of our brokers teach forms classes. So we can work on getting a better list of, all the list of all the market centers that we have that are teaching them and when they're teaching them, Lena and Robin. We can probably do that for everybody. Okay. Open House 101. The reason there's an asterisk is Yes, that's part of this 15 days. It's also part of Agent Launch University. So you can shelve that. Same with Trend Graphics, by the way. You can shelve I don't know why there's not an asterisk. That's just a typo. That's just a typo. You can shelve both of those until we offer them on this. Okay. So that's the concession I will make with you on these, but the rest of it, I really want you to focus on. I told you there's a couple little concessions on this, right? So let me go to the detail sheet. Here we go. Here we go. Because there's some kind of definitions, and we're just going to drill down in the weeds. So remember we talked about the whole concept of having 20 conversations a day. So does anyone here, I guess you're seeing it, so we're cheating, but you know, what's your definition of a contact or a conversation? Anyone? Sean Brown?
I would say talking to anyone, and if real estate were to come up, or you intertwine that into the conversation, but I think whether it's text at this point, social media, text, LinkedIn, I think connecting, even if real estate doesn't come up right away, I think connecting in some shape, form, or fashion.
Yeah. And everyone here, I just kind of want to introduce you to Sean and Shazon. Janet, you're a seasoned agent, so we will introduce you, but Sean and Shazon, I think I just want everyone to kind of know who you are as you guys join us this round. These guys were new agents when they started L3 that we're now calling ALU last year, and they are thriving. Like, you know, and so I think these are, I want you guys to kind of look up to them as like, this is where you can be in 6 months, you know. I'm putting them on the spot because I didn't know they'd be here. I didn't tell them I'd be talking about them, but to me, they're going to rock it in real estate, you know, and they showed up every time they participated. They did the work. They did the in-between work, you know. Sean would email us all the time and said, hey, I did what you said, and this is what happened, and here's a funny story, and here are some pictures, and here's a sad story, here's a good story, you know, and that's when I say show up, I mean, he showed up. And so, Sean, how's your year shaping out, by the way? Sorry, I'm putting you on the spot.
That's okay. I didn't know I was thriving, so thank you. So that makes me feel better. I wasn't aware. No. I've had 2 listings, really 3. I had to give one up because of a relocation situation with a company. But so I acquired 3 listings, and 2 of them sold for above asking 12 and 16%. And still trying to get the buyer side and get more listings at this time.
That's great. What about you, Shazan, doing your awesome open houses with balloons?
I'm loving open houses. They're just my favorite. And if anybody on here wants to shadow on one of my next ones, I'd be happy to take you. I won't be doing one this weekend, but probably the weekend after. They are my favorite. I have met clients that I haven't seen in 12 years putting up signs at open houses that may not be buying a house now, but they will be in the future. And I've already sold one house myself, and just looking for open houses and calling other agents, I've actually split a deal with another agent already too. So that's been fun.
So building those relationships.
Yep. Yeah.
I love that so much. And then Janet Svizak, will you say something so you pop up for everybody?
Hey.
So Janet's one of our top agents in our entire network, out of our Marysville office, but also does a lot of business in kind of the Everett area too, just kind of that whole general broad Snohomish County. And I just want you to know her name and face, because she participates on our Wednesday webinars on this. She shows up, and she is starting a team, and you know, I mean, just someone you guys all, I just kind of want you to make sure you know her.
A few of the team members are on here.
I see Kayla.
Well, 3 of them are, one is testing. She's leaving out of here to test today to get her license. The other one will be testing next week. So yeah.
I love it. That's great. So I just wanted to make sure. Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Cool. Okay. So back to this. So a conversation is a contact would be defined as a two-way communication saying real estate. So, look, guys, this can be an Instagram direct message. That's fine, but it can't be about your cute little dog you posted unless it turns into some kind of a real estate conversation, right?
Like, and it can't be just that you write them and they don't respond. That doesn't count.
Yeah, two-way, right? So it can be Instagram, it can be Facebook, it can be text, but it has to be two-way, responding back and forth, in person, on phone. Do not avoid the phone in real estate. It doesn't matter if you're Gen Z, if you're millennial, if you're Gen X, if you're a boomer. This is not an age group thing, right? Don't start with me on that. This is a face-to-face, belly-to-belly, voice-to-voice, eyeball-to-eyeball business, period, end of story. That's why open houses work well, right? So this isn't just some old lady telling you like get on the phone and whatever, right? Shazon, like you got to get belly to belly at open houses with people and like sell, you can't avoid it.
And you got to practice those scripts too. Sean and I were just talking about this the other day, and we were bouncing off each other about what to say to people at open houses, after open houses. All those things matter.
I agree. Well said. So we're going to skip the nurture because I think that's getting a little bit in the weeds. So, I kind of went through the database already verbally, and this is just kind of and again, Lena has this, so she'll hand this out to you, but this is kind of a way to jog your memory a little bit here. I do want to go into the 50 homes. This is super important. So the caveat is, where are my Thurston County people? Do we have any Thurston County people here? I don't see any hand raises, but that could be because I don't have the whole thing up. If you're off camera, if you wanted, you can use the little hand raise reaction button on Zoom. What about Pierce County peeps? Yep. Okay, perfect. What about, let's go all the way north, Whatcom County peeps? Skagit, Island. Okay. So you guys are going to have to modify this, right? But potentially even some Snohomish peeps. This was, again, this is just taken directly from my team in Kirkland, right? So, this is authentic, and that's the good news. The bad news is that like someone in Whatcom, Pierce, or you guys don't need to go see all of these various condos. What I want to urge you to do is take the hardest type of product and substitute them in. So, is that acreage? Is it, horse property? I've sold all of those before. Because the reason there's so many condos in here is they're very stressful to show. It's really stressful to go into downtown Seattle if you're not comfortable and understand where to park, how to get a key box, how to get it from a concierge, if there's a concierge, or if there's not. It's very challenging to do. So there's a little bit of you might be going, why are there all these condos on here? It's not necessarily because we were a condo specialist team. We weren't per se. It was because I knew that those elicited the most stress. And so that you substitute in kind of what the hardest thing would be in your market. That's kind of the idea, right? So let's go through all of these. Does that make sense to everybody before we move on? Okay. So again, translate this, but in King County, an occupied home. And the idea here is that, look, I want you to get used to making an appointment on showing time, potentially talking to the agent, understanding there's a window of time you have to be there. And if you're going to try to go fit in 5 of these in a day, you have to overlap, you have to calculate travel time, just like you'd have to do on a buyer tour, right? And I want you guys to go through that. That's the point of this, right? So at least, some single family homes that are currently occupied. And I want you to, get comfortable walking into a freaky vacant house, because sometimes it's a little spooky, I think. So, go and see. Those are easier to preview and show, admittedly, but they're also sometimes a little freaky deaky. So there's that. Okay, anyone in real estate long enough has a good alarm story for you. I certainly do. Machias, I'm not going to talk about it. So, all I'm going to say about that is, I want you to go preview a home that has an alarm, it has alarm instructions, and you'll just have to find one along your way. I definitely want everybody here to go see at least one new construction site. May I ask you a favor? Please do not go visit on the weekends. That is when they're the busiest. Please go visit during the week and go during a slow time. So earlier in the day, the better. They typically open their sites around 11 or 12. I always recommend Main View. Main View always has a very beautiful, large site model of homes. For you Seattle people, it's going to be a little drive. They usually always have model homes very north or very south. Every single one here can go to a Main View World of Homes, right? So I think that's a good one. Introduce yourself, tell them you're a new agent. You can tell them I sent you. There's a lot of people that have said that. And that, you know, you just want to kind of learn, you know, as you start working with more and more buyers, how their registration policy works and how they like it when we show homes, and talk, you know, talk to the agent and go see the product. It's important to kind of learn. They have registration policies at new construction sites. And I think that's really important to learn. If it's relevant to you, go see new construction attached. So, hey, Whatcom, I have news for you. Y'all have townhomes in downtown Bellingham that are, you all are starting to get like townhomes, and I'm calling it Bellingview now. Like Bellingham's turning into like a little metropolis. So there's townhomes you can go preview, right? You can see attached product there now. Everett and Tacoma, you too. So this doesn't have to be stacked high rise. Go see some, you know, if you can, new construction products that are attached, right? You King County people 100% for sure have to adhere to all these condos because they are very stressful. And I want you to experience that. Practice it without your clients. That's what I want. I want you to go see Seattle peeps, King County peeps. I want you to see at least a condo in downtown Seattle, at least one condo in downtown Bellevue. I want you to go to like Lincoln Tower, somewhere in Bellevue with a concierge. I want you to go to like a Scala or somewhere in Seattle. This is where you might want to buddy up, right? So that you're not all doing this separately. This is where you might want to go as a pack, a wolf pack a little bit. You can kind of see down the list. You can go to see some condos without doormen, you know, and again, the Kirkland thing, some of these cities, you're going to substitute your cities. Here's what's important about this. And I want to tell you a story, and some of you guys know the story who are on the last one, but obviously I made all my agents do this. And on day 15, what was special is that we turned on leads for them once they went through this. So one of my agents, she was brand new, literally got her license and started with my team like the next day. It happened to be a Monday. So she goes through her 15 days and we turn on leads. And sure enough, she literally gets a Zillow lead like her first week for like, it was like $1 million Zillow lead in Kirkland. So she goes and shows the client the house and they're like, yeah, I don't know. It's like, I think it was like 1-2. She's like, I don't know. And they're like, I don't know if we liked it that well. And, you know, they're kind of showing her body language. They didn't like the house. She's like, oh, that's totally fine. I don't know, like, I don't know what your price point is, but just the other day, I was previewing some properties, you know, about a mile away. And the builder happened to be on site because I was there during the week because she was doing her new construction thing. I was there during the week. They're about 1.5, but they're really great product. Would you be interested in those? And they go, yeah. And so she went and showed him those. She got him a contract on those. And I 100% attribute that to the previewing, right? Number one, there's a confidence level that comes when you know your product in an area. And number two, she just knew her product in the area, you know, like she could never have said that. She could never have converted that had she not have known about that product, right? She just couldn't have done that. So you need to translate this to like wherever you think you're going to get referrals or leads so that you're ready. Does that make sense? So that like when that thing happens, you picture that story. You know, she's gone on to be a phenomenally successful agent, by the way. And I just think that's a great example of this. So, you know, obviously these cities aren't going to work, you know, for everybody in different areas. And maybe someday the team leaders can kind of translate this for each of the different market centers and we can work on that. But in the meanwhile, it's an editable document. So you guys can feel free to edit it. Any questions on that before we move on? Really important to me anyway that you commit to office time. And again, you know, it's probably going to look like it's 8:30 to 12 by the time you get in. Shazan, do your script practice like you're talking about, make your calls, go to the forms class, go to your office meeting, do all the things. And then in the absence of having any appointments that result from that, you should be pretty busy doing your appointments in the afternoon, doing your previews, in the afternoon, right? Doing this. And that's kind of the idea. It keeps you busy. One of the seeds I want to plant is when you do a lot of previewing like this in a concentrated amount of time, for all of you here who just are naturally really good at social media, don't be shy. This is the stuff that goes in your stories. This is the stuff that you start posting about, right? This is the kind of stuff you chat about at night when you go out with your friends, or you're picking up your kids and you're hanging out with the other, moms at a soccer game or whatever, talk about it. It should be changing your conversation. And like, I just saw this wild house, in the water with this trippy chandelier. It was just wild. Or this bathtub that, just had this floor to ceiling view. It's just cool. You want to see a picture? Talk about it. Show it, put it on your social media, let it change your conversation, because what you're doing in this interim period, for those of you who are new, is you're kind of translating they think of you as whatever you were before real estate. And now you have to change how they think of you into, Larissa, the real estate agent, instead of Larissa, the whatever you did before, or Tom, the real estate agent, or, Stephanie, or Darby, or is it Majid? Majid, is that how? Perfect. So, they think of you guys as what you did before, right, Aaron? That's how they think of you. And now what you're trying to do is get them to think of you as a real estate agent. So when you learn all this stuff in Ignite, like, emailing your clients and their database, and what we talk a lot about that throughout Agent Launch University, every single one of you here, because you're part of our Ben Kinney, Keller Williams, you guys get market reports for free. You get Brivity market reports for free. Those are the single best thing you can send anybody ever for all time. I've been sending market reports out for over a decade. Before Brivity had them, I was sending them from another company. Everybody here should be sending those to all of their clients. Whether they're looking in a neighborhood, you can send them in the neighborhood they're looking in. Whether it's they own a home, those are automated things, right? So those are happening in the background, right? And they're poking into those sometimes. They're like, oh, 3 homes sold in my neighborhood this month. Interesting. Then layered on top of that, they switch onto your Instagram story. And they're like, oh, look, April's previewing a lot of homes. Like, April's going to some cool places here. Like, interesting. And then one day, April, what happens? You get that call. Hey, April, I got a question. If I were going to remodel my bathroom, like, what do you think would get the best resale value? That's when that they think of you as a real estate agent, not whatever you did before, right? So this is all, Sean Brown, right? A big project, and them thinking of you as this new identity. Does that make sense, everybody? Yeah, I'm seeing head nods. That's a good sign. So I'm assuming the people in their paper bags are nodding too, but I don't see on camera. Paper bag people say yes. So, that's really what part of this is doing. This is for your knowledge and your confidence and your competence, yes, but it's also for you to think about changing the conversation. I would say it's more of like an indirect, softer approach in changing your identity. I want all of you guys, as part of your real estate practice, whether you've done this 10 years or 10 months or 10 days or 10 minutes, to get into some kind of a regular practice of previewing homes. It's really one of the single best things you can do for yourself. Now, what'll happen is some of you eventually will get so busy with buyers that previewing really turns into showing homes for buyers, right? And you don't need to do a lot of standalone previewing anymore. That's okay. But never let that practice go. And remember, I said this. It's not going to ring true to a lot of you now, but if you ever go through a slump and you're ever just in need of an injection, doing nothing else but getting out and just previewing a bunch of homes is sometimes all I've needed to get into action again. There's something about just feeling purposeful to my day, setting, okay, I got to go see 10 homes in this neighborhood today. I need to get up to speed. I would just kind of almost make believe that I had a purpose to my day and go preview a bunch of homes. And I don't know what it did, but the phone always rang or it got me to call people differently. I don't know what happened, but getting into action by previewing homes has always kind of been my go-to, like adrenaline shot every time I've kind of needed a turnaround. So for a lot of you new agents, you haven't experienced that yet, but maybe you'll remember that for the times that you might need it. So any questions or comments, or what are your thoughts at this point? Larissa.
Hi, my name is Larissa, and I'm completely new real estate agent. I just joined the Keller Williams like a couple days ago.
Awesome.
And, thank you. And I have probably really stupid questions, but so I'm really excited about previewing homes, but how I need to find those homes? I need to use the MLS or Zillow, or like just my contacts from other agents, or how I can find those homes.
What office are you in, Larissa?
I'm in North Seattle right now.
Yeah, have you met with Eric yet?
Yes, I met him just today and for a few minutes.
Cool. I love that you're taking this new. That's perfect. So you're going to go take an MLS class. Have you taken that one yet to get your key?
This is my plan for today. I'm going to do it like right after this class.
Okay, good. So you're going to take that class to get your super key. And then I would encourage you to, on your own, you can take it like a fundamentals or an introductory class, Lena, you might know, but what is it called for Numels? That it's like the fundamental class, or?
Yeah, there's two. There's two required after the orientation. So
orientation.
Yeah. So there's the orientation one, and then there's two other MLS classes. But definitely the orientation you have to take, and then they'll get your super key all set up.
So Larissa, they're going to show you how to search. And so you're going to, if you're in North Seattle, depending on kind of where you want to focus your business, right? I would very much encourage you to, kind of follow that list. Some of the cities can change, but you should still adhere to those. The condos are the most stressful thing you can show, I think, in our area. It's very intimidating to know where to park, again, where to find the lockbox and all that. So I would follow that list and just tweak the cities. Like you might want to add in Shoreline, Edmonds, Linwood. You might want to add in some cities that are more relevant to you, Briar, Kenmore, I don't know, wherever your business is. But you would just search on the MLS, for homes in there. And then part of the process, and why I want you to do this, is I want you to learn how to look up an alarm. I want you to learn how to search for houses with an alarm. I want you to learn how to search for vacant and occupied. So part of this process is I want you to practice all of this now before you have a client, and before you're feeling the pressure of a client breathing down your neck, expecting you to text or email them in 20 minutes. I want you to do it now ahead of time. You'll thank me later. So if it feels stressful now, it's going to feel really stressful later,
Thank you so much.
Can I piggyback off that?
Yeah.
I'm also just got licensed 2 days ago, and I'm trying to add the same question. Who was the contact in office that you said to meet with? Eric, what's his last name?
Are you in North Seattle?
Yeah.
Yeah, Eric Robeson.
Eric Robeson. Okay, thank you.
He's your broker. And so, usually it's your designated broker. Most of you should have gotten a sheet when you onboarded that has like a list of what everyone does. And, it's just a lot. It's a lot.
Just a quick thing. When I met Eric today, he said he's going on vacation to Mexico. So if you want to talk to him, do it as soon as possible.
Tim can also help you. So yeah. Larissa and Darby, I'm going to message Tim right now. Larissa.
I'm in contact with Tim. He brought me actually to Keller Williams. So.
Cool. So I just texted Tim, so I'll have him help you with that.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I got a question.
Yep.
Uh, Hi, I'm at Eastside, brand new, and was in the MLS trying to like do it while you were talking about it, just so I had a visual. You think the fastest way to find houses to preview is using Realist, or just like typing in maybe a zip code or like an area code to find?
What market center did you say you were in?
I'm at Eastside in Kirkland.
Eastside, yeah. Okay, so it kind of depends. This just comes down to how your brain's wired, honestly. And like I also find, are you a PC or a Mac user?
I'm a Mac. Well, both.
Okay, I don't know why, but if you're a Mac user, I find the map feature, drawing outlines, works really well for me. I've been an over a decade long Apple user, and I find Apple users are a little bit more drag and drop. We're going to draw around things, and PC users are a little bit more used to clicks, a bunch of, clicks, cumbersome clicks, if you ask me. But like, we're going to do a whole complicated search. So it kind of depends how your brain's wired and how you want to do that search. There are definitely times where I'm going to do MLS area, like area 560, area 710 in Northeast Seattle. I don't trust agents. So I never search with neighborhood. So you wouldn't ever see me say area 710 Laurelhurst, never. What I would do is I would draw a map, because mapping goes wrong less than an agent thinking it's Laurelhurst, but it's Windermere. And now I'm trusting that they have, data input something, right? I don't want that. So that's why over the years, it's like, have you guys ever heard that computer expression, any coders here, garbage in, garbage out? Right. It's just like so I have a lack of trust issues. Big trust issues, Zachary. That's a whole different conversation. So I am a big map drawer because I know I can, for the most part, like the least likelihood of failure is going to be a mapping software glitch.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
And as a real estate agent, we know the lines of demarcation. Like, I'm not going to want to go past Sandpoint Way. I'm not going to want to go past 65th or whatever, or I don't want to go into Windermere. I just want, whatever it is, right? So if it's East Side, for instance, like I only want west of Market. I don't want to go past Market. I don't want to go east of Market. I don't want to go past the golf course park. I don't want to go past there. I don't want to go past Marina Park. So I know the only way to really do that is to draw a line.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Any other questions, comments, concerns? What's coming up for you guys in this? Like, does it freak you out or does it excite you?
I was just going to say that from doing it, the 50 homes, I think it's one of the greatest parts of the class, in my opinion, if you do it. And if you buddy with someone at a point, I think my advice is to do walkthroughs. Like, you take turns, you print out because that's what you're going to do with clients. You print out the sheet and you walk this buddy of yours through the property like they're a client. This way you can get nervous, you mess up, you get better at previewing, which is what I did when I could. And also just all the mistakes that happen, to Via's point, will happen. And now you're not nervous. Like, just opening the key box the first time, if you did that with a client, you're going to mess up and it's going to take you long and you're going to lose credibility. So I think going through it, finding the key box, going to a condo where you have to go upstairs and downstairs and get 2 different key boxes for 2 different apartments in the same building, like, you would never know. So I think it's invaluable. So that would be kind of my advice. Just make sure you do it. It's hard to get to 50 homes, but if you do it, you'll be a little bit more of an expert than you thought you were before. That would be my takeaway.
And may I just say, okay, Sean, snaps to Sean. Here's what I love about Sean, and like what I just want to point out. They're showing up. Like, there's listening to this and going on with your day. Then they're showing up and committing to doing it. That's great. Then there's Sean, which is let's show up and do it and think about how I can maximize every second of this to be better. Right? Like, that's superb. I just want to give you a shout out, my friend, because like that is just making this whole thing better. 100%. I love that. Where you're practicing showing homes. In my open house class, Sean, as you know, I actually walk through how to present a home. Sorry, my glasses are glitching, which might sound like a really weird thing to show, but like there are rules, you know, like you don't want to stand in someone's sight line. You want to open a door in a certain way. Like literally, I teach you how to present a home. We do that in new construction. And they actually teach you how to present homes in new construction, and people I don't know why they don't teach it in resale, right? And so you could really maximize it. Sean, maybe we should switch. That's good. Lena, maybe we should add that to this curriculum, to the first one.
I love it.
For next
And people should
Sean,
definitely go preview with partners or a group of people.
A group, yeah. That's really good. That's really good, Sean. Thank you.
Quick question. After you do the previews with the Showing Time app, it pops up and the brokers want feedback. So do you have any advice on the feedback? What to say, what not to say, that sort of thing?
You know, just previewing. Previewing. I thought the price was really good. I would imagine it'll sell at your offer review. Just previewing, you know, just a heads up. There were some packages out on the porch that I brought in and set next to the door. You know, just previewing. FYI, I thought it was a little dark. It might be helpful to put some lights on or add some extra lights. Just previewing. FYI, it was beautiful. I've seen 5 houses in this neighborhood. It might be a tad high, that kind of a thing.
Okay, cool.
Be you super helpful. These are your people you're going to work with. So.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's
you also
pretty
don't
much...
have to put comments all the time. I know you know this, Via, but like it gives you 1 through 5. So if you didn't have anything to say, there's like a rating. You would just be saying price, style, and you could say previewing for potential clients. One way.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I actually, one of the places I messaged the broker and was like, hey, your smoke alarm is beeping in this place. And they were really appreciative of that. So that was kind of cool.
You know, I'm reading back on comments. I forgot about HomeSpotter. HomeSpotter's gotten a lot better. Yeah, I agree. I use City a lot. So I would say I use map first, City second, by the way, because you're not going to probably script. The only problem I have with City, and this could be a direct relation of where I do real estate. So I'm in Kirkland and I do real estate in like, you know, the east side in Seattle. It's so dense, like Seattle. Are you kidding me? That could be Lake City, or it could be like West Seattle, almost Burien. I mean, that's massive, right? So if you say Mount Vernon, that's a little different. You know, you can picture it. So city, zip code is even pretty broad in some cases, you know, because we have such a dense environment sometimes. So my answers may not be altogether indicative to what's appropriate in your, you know, your area, right? Like in San Juan Island, it's the whole island, you know, so. Anything else on that? I think we're ready. Are we ready for breakout rooms? Let's see here.
Yes. So we're going to go into breakouts according to market center.
Okay.
And that way you can connect with other people that are in your market center that you could set up your preview groups and kind of see where everybody's at and, you know, get accountability partners for moving forward for the rest of this class series.